Winter is a tough time for cycling, but this bike is making it so much easier.
Gentlemen don't do rides without mud guards.
In a month I've had the bike, I've ridden about 600 kilometres, which is a good amount, so I'm really pleased with that despite the weather and the other conditions we've had to face. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know I've got quite a few tasty test bikes on loan at the moment, so yeah, I'm spoiled for choice. But when I want to go for a ride, get the miles in, do some good training, this is a bike I choose. And for those reasons, it really is my favourite bike right now. But first, a quick recap, especially if you're new to my channel. So a month ago, I introduced this bike with a nice detailed first look, link down below if you missed that, to talk about this concept, this idea of a dedicated winter bike and why I think this bike is so perfectly suited to this purpose. So it's made by Enigma in the UK and it's called the Etape, and it's a titanium touring bike Audax model. So we've got a tough, durable titanium frame. We've got a full-length mud guards to keep the rain and mud off you. We've got hydraulic disc brakes for maximum control in tricky situations. And of course, we've got wide tuber tyres for extra grip on slippery roads and to reduce the risk of a puncture. Now, of course, it's so much more than a winter bike, especially here in the UK. Some are sporties without the mud guards, Audaxing, light touring with the pannier mounts on the back there. But all the ingredients I mentioned earlier really come to the fore in the challenging and tough winter conditions we face here in the UK and the Northern Hemisphere. And the idea of a dedicated winter bike is really about removing the barrier to riding outside when the weather is, well, let's face it, grim and less than encouraging, and you'd rather be inside where it's warm and dry. But you've got to get the miles in for the summer, you need your summer fitness, and a bike like this with the mud guards and everything set up for reliability and low maintenance and maximum comfort, it's the perfect bike for meeting these challenging conditions. Just makes riding in the winter much more enjoyable than it might be on another bike where you bodge onto mud guards and they're rattling and squeaking, got narrow skinny tyres, not giving you any comfort, got a risk of inner tube punctures. So yeah, it's the perfect winter bike, and it made the last month of riding much more enjoyable, much less unpleasant. Before I talk about ride quality and handling, let me talk about reliability and what I've changed on the bike in the month I've had it so far. And talking of change, I've only changed one thing, and that is the saddle. I didn't quite get on with the saddle that came on the bike, an Enigma branded saddle, so I changed my current favourite saddle, a Specialized power saddle. Just really like the short shape of a saddle, good support, really works for me even on longer rides, but saddles are a personal preference. So aside from that, I haven't changed anything, and I don't plan to change anything either. I don't think it's that useful to you if you're looking to buy a bike to suddenly change all the components on the bike, so I'm keeping it as stock as I can during this test period to make it as useful to you as possible. But let me know what you change down in the comment section below. So in terms of reliability, the bike has been faultless. Now, the month I've had the bike, we've had everything from snow. I can't believe it snowed in the sunny Cotswolds. Torrential rain, strong winds and loads of mud. And the bike has stood up really well. Not had a single puncture, touch wood, no mechanical issues. The only thing I do is clean the bike after every single ride and lube the chain. And that's all the maintenance that is required. And that's what you want in a winter bike. So really easy to look after, and it's there for you, ready for every ride, whatever the weather. And talking of cleaning, a bike with mud guards and disc brakes is so much easier to clean than a bike with rim brakes and no mud guards. There's less grime from the rim brakes, and the mud guards keep most of the mud and crap off the frame and bike. And it does help to protect the front mech and other components of the bike a little bit as well. So much easier cleaning. For me, that works really well because I ride my bike every single day and I'm always cleaning bikes, it seems. So a relentless job. So less cleaning is a nice thing on this bike. Components on the bike, well, flawless really. You all know I love Shimano's Ultegra mechanical disc brake group set. I really like action shifting. I'm really liking the wide range gears on this with a wide range cassette and a compact chain set. I'm going riding slower at the time of year. I'm not charging up the hills. I'm spinning gracefully up the hills. Well, it feels graceful sometimes. So low gears are working for me, and the disc brakes, plenty of power and no noise so far. Now, normally in the winter, you have to change to a more robust tyre to ward off punctures and to last longer and give you some more grip on wet, slippery roads. But that is the benefit of tubeless. I run a nice, supple, high-performance road race tyre, but get the puncture prevention from the latex in there. So it's the best of both worlds, really. And I know you all think I'm in the pocket of the big tubeless industry, but I'm not. It just works for me, and this is where tubeless really works. So these, touch wood, being faultless, no punctures, they don't lose air over time, so not regularly pumping them up. And on these Hunt wheels, they work perfectly well too, so no problems at all. I'm running about 50 psi for my body weight for reference, so nice and smooth, loads of traction, loads of comfort, and that, along with the compliance in a titanium frame, is a wonderful combination. The bike is spec'd with Hunt's 4-season gravel disc wheels, but gravel wheels on a road bike, you're wondering? That's a good question. But the gravel is all about the inner rim width, and that's something that changed very rapidly in the last few years. So these are 20mm on the inside, and a few years ago that was good for a gravel bike, but now you're looking at 25 internal rim width for a gravel tyre. But these with a 32mm road tyre and a perfect combination. So nice broad platform for the wide tyre, get less of that light bulbing effect, so good support at low pressures. So don't get hung up on the fact they say gravel on there. They're not really a gravel wheel as such, and their latest gravel wheels are much wider than these are. So the rims are aluminium, external nipples, and the hubs so far have been faultless. They spin smoothly, the free hub doesn't make too much noise, but I will keep an eye on the reliability of the wheels as I continue to ride the bike. I've had a few questions about long-term durability, and it's my first chance to really long-term test a set of Hunt wheels. So my time on them in the past has been quite brief, but now I really get some miles on the bike and really see if they live up to their quite lofty reputation, it has to be said. So wheels, tyres good, group set good, SKS mudguards, excellent. Not had any problems with these at all. Nice length, get good coverage of the wheel, so keeping me dry and the person behind me dry as well. No rattling, creaking, so they're solid on there, there's no problems at all. Some interesting debate around mudguard choice in my first look video, but so far these haven't been a problem at all, and I think they look okay as well, so yeah, no issues there. And then finishing kit, it's all Enigma branded components, so the handlebar, stem and the bar tape, which is, well, there's nothing really to comment about that. It looks fine, it works fine, nice compact drops, the stem length is right for me. And the only other changes I made to customise the bike for my riding are my power tap pedals for measuring my power, a Lezyne saddlebag stuffed full of tools and essentials, a pair of Lezyne front and rear lights, and a Wahoo computer out front mount. So those are the only changes, and so far, yeah, it's working really well for me. The ride quality of this bike is absolutely superb. It's silky smooth on my rough roads. The comfort factor is so good on this bike, helped of course by the big tyres, but you really feel a compliance from the titanium frame doing its wonderful thing. And it's also really sprightly as well. So you want to ride fast, do a few hill reps perhaps, the bike is more than capable. There's enough stiffness on the frame and the fork that it won't hold you back at all. And the weight isn't really a factor. So I've mentioned weight. This bike, a size 56, without pedals, but with mud guards and a bottom cage, weighs 9.68 kilograms on my scales, which is about right for a bike of this specification and price. For comparison, that Van Moots RSL disc I had on test last year with a titanium frame, but much higher end carbon wheels, came in about 8.6 kilograms, but a lot more expensive. I mean, that's £6,500 for the frame alone, so more than this whole bike costs. Now, weight isn't a big factor in the winter, in my opinion. In the summer, yes, when you're charging up hills and you're racing and you want to feel as fast and light as possible, weight is everything. But in the winter, a bit of extra weight is no bad thing and has a couple of benefits. So the extra weight gives the bike a real planted, stable ride quality. It feels really bomb-proof on rough roads, and it feels like you can just barrel through everything with no problems at all. And then there's the old idea, which I don't know if modern cyclists still adhere to, but the idea of riding a heavy bike during the winter when you're training. Yes, it's hard work, but it's good training. And then in the spring, when you switch to your lightweight summer bike, it feels instantly faster because of the weight difference from going to your winter bike to your lightweight summer bike. And it might only be psychological, but it's a nice feeling in the spring when you put your winter bike to one side and you get your summer carbon bike out and you instantly feel faster from the weight difference as well. So that is definitely something to bear in mind. The fit and position of this size 56 suits my 5'11" height really well. A bit more laid back, a bit more relaxed. Got a nice long wheelbase, slacker head angle than a race bike. So it's really stable at any speed. The steering isn't too fast or twitchy. It's really calm and relaxed. It just makes those long winter rides much easier. No issues with a kind of a nervous, twitchy bike. But that said, if you get up to speed, throw it into a bend, it's still reasonably agile. No, it still indulges your ability or desire to ride in a spirited way if that's your want. Titanium must be one of the nicest materials to make a bicycle frame from. There's so many positive attributes about this material. I mean, it looks stunning for a start, and in the month I've had the bike, I've had enough time to really admire it up close. And it is really nicely made. It's not made in the UK, but the build quality is excellent. And while the wheels are very neat, they're probably not in the same league as a Moot. That is like 3 times the price, so it's a little unfair to criticise this bike based on a comparison there. But the wheels are very good, it has to be said, at every junction around the frame. And I especially like the rear dropouts with the flat mount caliper mount, really nicely done. But it's a way the material rides that's probably the best attribute for a winter bike. Just got a natural quality that lends itself to rough roads, really smooth, got a nice level of compliance from the frame. There's enough stiffness in the rear end when you're climbing and powering out of saddle up steep climbs. But it's wonderful smoothness, compliance, that coupled with the wide tube tyres just helps it to soak up the roughest roads. I mean, it's so comfortable. It is insane how smooth the bike is on my local rough roads, and just makes long winter rides when the weather's grim and unpleasant really enjoyable actually, and really comfortable. Helped by the geometry of the bike as well, which is more laid back than a race bike, so longer wheelbase, a little bit slacker in head angle. Just makes it a really stable planted bike, an easy bike to ride a long distance at any speed. There's also the fact it's an easy material to look after. There's no paint and scratch. It won't rust like a steel frame. It's easy to clean. You can buff up the finish again as well. Got very nice understated logos as well, so it's a timeless, classy looking bike that will look as good as it does now in 5, 10, 25 years time as well. And it's a frame that will last a lifetime, probably last longer than I'm around. So lots to like about titanium. The only downside really is the price is still quite high. I mean, the price for titanium has always been on the high side. It's much lower than it used to be, so more accessible, but it's still an expensive choice, especially compared to aluminium, say, which is another popular winter bike choice. But price aside, there's a lot to like about titanium, and for me, it works really well in this example as a dedicated winter bike. Having this bike set up with mud guards and wide tuber tyres and disc brakes and some lights makes it so easy to get out whatever the weather. In the rain, snow, wind, at night time, it's just such a nice bike to ride, and it really does encourage you to get outside when you'd rather be inside on the sofa, or dare I say it, the smart trainer. So compared to that, this is definitely a better option in my book. So that's my first ride report on this lovely Enigma Etape, my dedicated winter bike, which is helping me get out and get the miles in when it is pretty grim, it has to be said, snowing at the moment. Let me know if you have any questions about this bike, what you think of it down in the comment section below. And if you want to check out this bike and other models in the company range, check out their website, link down below. So I'll do another report in about a month's time as I continue to ride a bike through the winter. So make sure you subscribe to my channel by hitting that red button down below if you want to see that, and other videos on my channel which are probably floating around my head now as well. So lots of other content to check out on my channel on a regular basis. If you enjoy watching this video, hit that like button. As I said, any comments down below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. But all that said, just leave me say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again next time I'm off for a ride.